Global policing efforts have ramped up as transnational threats continue to grow. Vincent Vleesenbeek and Vince Hawke join me now to discuss. Well, first of all, gentlemen, thank you ever so much indeed for taking the time to talk to us today. Really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to have a conversation like this.
Well, let's kick off. The global part of the ICP has grown so much over the last few years. I think it might be good to start, if you could just explain what your roles are to people.
I am the International Vice President for the IACP. I work for the Netherlands Police. And between 2017 and 2022, I worked as the Dutch Police Attaché in Washington, D.C. So I've been an active member for the IACP since 2017. And beside that, I'm the chair of the Global Police Division. And that is a division that has 7 world regional chairs. So we distinguish 7 world regions for the IACP. And together with those 7 world regional chairs, you oversee the IACP international programs globally.
Thank you. Vince?
Well, I'm the Director of Global Policing, which is the operational side of what Vincent was speaking about. So we would take what the board recommends and the direction that we're going, and we would implement on the operational perspective.
So we're here in Denver for the 2025 conference. Great to be here. Give us a little bit of a flavor, if you would, about some of the events here this week.
Well, I just mentioned the 7 world regional chairs, and tomorrow morning we start with a meeting with them. So it's our yearly meeting that we all come together. And we share regional updates globally. One of the highlights actually for this conference for all the international guests is the International Luncheon, which is on Sunday. And for this lunch we have a guest speaker, a keynote speaker from the Netherlands this time, the Chief of The Hague, the International City of Peace and Justice. And she will address all the international guests and speak about policing in The Hague, but also speak about recruitment and retention, which is one of the main topics for President Walker this year.
Yeah, so really IACP is a massive network. Right. And in that network, there's an international piece that has been growing significantly. So what we want to do at the conference is bring those people together. And so not only do they have the advantage of going from country to country in the International Lounge, for example, and having discussions and their own bilateral meetings, we also hold bilateral meetings ourselves. So both the president and the incoming president and outgoing president, we meet with various countries and the delegations from those countries, again, to enhance that relationship piece, to learn from them and vice versa.
So we've talked a little bit about how we've expanded, how the ICP's expanded its global footprint. How important is that continued expansion? And can you give me some examples of cooperation that has really worked?
We engage, for example, Vincent's from the Netherlands, so from The Hague, where Europol is stationed out of there. We have a great partnership with Europol. So we would attend their events, and we would have discussions with the different European police chiefs about what's going on in their country and how that impacts what's happening in North America, for example, or it could be South America or Australia, whatever the case may be. So by having that engagement back and forth allows us then to adjust our policies. Right. And there could be a policy that we have, for example, on use of force, that now we can relate to an issue that's happening in Europe.
There's a lot of conversations taking place between senior people at the IACP and a lot of organisations around the world. But let me ask you bluntly, what are the benefits to IACP members of all this?
Well, first of all, the IACP has members in 180 countries nowadays. So that provides a magnificent international network. Right. Besides that, there are lots of resources that are provided by the IACP. So also for me personally, while I was working as a police attaché in Washington, and being a member of this association gave me a very in-depth insight in US law enforcement, but also all kinds of global developments. So for example, we have the Police Chief magazine with lots of international articles. We have trainings, both in person and online. There are toolkits. There's so much out there, so much information to get. So, but for me personally, the most important thing is the network.
Right.
We're like a massive world hub, and we're connected to organizations like Interpol, Europol, Asianapol, organizations that are police-based, police leadership-based, like ANSPA is from Australia, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police in Canada, and so on, Pacific Island Chiefs. So they would reach out to us. They need a connection somewhere else in the world. Then we can make that connection. And it's not by sitting at our desk we do this. It's by going out and meeting those individuals and having those conversations, knowing what those trends are in whatever the country is, and then us finding solutions and sharing the results in the end.
My final question, let me bring this back to core values. We talked a lot this week about expansion within the ICP and new things the ICP is doing. We were talking about AI earlier on today with another chief from the Netherlands. And a lot of this, though, for me, comes back to core values. One of the core values for the ICP is transparency and trust. So how important is that when you're reaching out to other organizations?
Well, transparency is probably one of the biggest issues that law enforcement faces worldwide because it's associated to trust and public trust. And if you don't have community and public trust, then that's where the legitimacy of policing falters. So we've actually developed within IECP a trust-building campaign. And this trust-building campaign started off in a smaller community in the US and has now expanded worldwide. So you could have a police chief in Europe who's actually developed a program that aligns with the values of the trust building campaign that IECP has, whether it's they have to achieve so many results and build resources in everything from use of force to community engagement to hiring, retention, and so on. All of those values of the trust building campaign are now expanded worldwide. And if you build trust with the community, then that's when you start to engage in a different level, and that's where the success comes in.
Well, thank you both so much indeed for that. I really enjoyed talking to you, so thank you very much.
No, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you.